separately from the tariffs.
Our country has a chance to be unbelievably rich again, but it can also be unbelievably poor again. If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly.
Analysts said the comments appeared intended to put pressure on justices before they consider the case. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 majority of Republican-appointed members. That could boost Trump's chances of getting the verdict he wants, but it's far from guaranteed. Legal experts say it's hard to call what will happen, given the unprecedented nature of the case. The appeals court ruling focused on Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs, as well as separate duties imposed in February on China, Canada and Mexico. It excludes other levies, such as those on imported metals, which have a different legal basis.
New Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville. Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinch me.
Somebody say pinch?
Pinch, pinch.
We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Don't call for pinches. Call for protection.
Hit it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close or?
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
U.S. stocks ended mostly higher on Wednesday, with the Dow closing essentially flat, the S&P 500 gaining 0.5%, and the Nasdaq climbing 1%. A Labor Department report showed U.S. job openings fell more than expected in July, and hiring was moderate, consistent with easing labor market conditions. Several Federal Reserve officials said labor market concerns continue to support their belief that rate cuts lie ahead. But Brian Mulberry, client portfolio manager at Zacks Investment Management, said it will be important to know the impetus behind an expected September rate cut.
Is this because we're actually winning the war against inflation? Or could the motive be a little bit more suspicious to markets in that growth is slowing? And part of that showed up today in the JOLTS report, where we actually saw a meaningful reduction in the amount of open jobs that were available for employees searching for new work. So that kind of is a signal that growth might be slowing, and the reason we get a rate cut might not be the one the market has priced in at the moment.
Stocks on the move Wednesday included Alphabet and Apple, which gave the S&P 500 and Nasdaq their biggest boosts. Shares of Alphabet rose about 9% after a late Tuesday court ruling allowed Google to retain control of its Chrome browser and Android mobile operating system, while barring certain exclusive contracts with device makers and browser developers. Shares of Apple gained nearly 4% as the ruling also preserved lucrative payments to the iPhone maker from Google. Shares of American Eagle Outfitters soared about 25% in extended trading after the retailer forecast third-quarter comparable sales above expectations, betting on a boost in demand from its controversial Sydney Sweeney campaign. On the flip side, shares of Salesforce dropped more than 4% in extended trading after the business software provider forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates.
There does seem to be a repricing of risk in this market. When I look at back over a one-year period from yesterday, looking back 1 year, large cap growth is up about 28% in that period of time. Large cap value is up only 8.5%. So you've got this wide margin of victory for growth stocks. But if I turn that lens and only look back 30 days, we have large cap growth actually down 0.3%, and large cap value is up 5.5%. So that is starting to flip here, and we're starting to see investors search for higher quality names. That typically means companies that have lower levels of debt, a better valuation model. When the S&P is trading at 22 times earnings, people are starting to look for new places and better valuations to put their money to work going forward. So in this market over the last couple of weeks, we've seen some choppiness. We expect that to continue until we actually see some material change. One would be an interest rate cut, but the language behind that is going to be incredibly important. Remember, a year ago, last September, we got a 50 basis point cut, and the 10-year Treasury yield went up because the reaction from investors was, what's going on here? What's broken? What are we trying to fix with a jumbo rate cut? The same could be true this time around, where we get that hawkish cut from the Fed. It might be just 25 basis points as expected, but the language behind it might be more of a, we need to support the economy from slowing rather than we're winning against inflation. The way the markets has been acting up until this last 30 days, it seemed like we have, just been ignoring some of the risks that are out there. So I think it's important to note that investors are looking for, I think, a little bit different risk model going into the back half of the year. That seems appropriate because we just simply expect more volatility as we close out 2025. So as we pick apart the JOLTS report that we got this morning, I think it's a really important indicator of what might be happening in the economy, and it's a good leading indicator. We fell short by about 176,000 jobs in terms of what actually was available to open workers and the expectations from economists. And so that's a meaningful number. That spread indicates that the available positions might be slowing even further into the future. It is important to note, though, that the quits rate and the hiring rate were still pretty much in line with expectations. They held pretty steady. We're still hiring at a slightly higher pace than we're losing jobs through the quits rate. So that means no real meaningful change in the overall unemployment rate. That adds a little bit of a comfort to what what would be a softening labor picture at this point in time. So it looks like the losses into the future might be weighing on growth. However, in the moment, the picture is still relatively stable when it comes to the actual unemployment rate today.
Well, happy Thursday as we take a look at your weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Rain early, remaining cloudy with showers this afternoon. Much cooler today. Temperatures only getting into the mid-60s. Some clouds tonight with a low down around 50. On Friday, looking at morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, upper 70s for a high. Saturday, morning rain showers, mid-60s. Sunday, partly cloudy with temperatures in the low 60s. Monday, mostly sunny with a high in the mid-60s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 7:15. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this 4th day of September. And right now, a decent start to the day, but again, looking at rain heading our way for your Thursday. We'll talk about that here a little bit more in just a moment. Again, glad you're with us here this morning. Getting you closer to the weekend. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say coming off of the Labor Day weekend, and it's already a short week, but it's thrown so many people off that I've talked to this week, where it's like, okay, what's going on today? Tomorrow's not that. Tomorrow's this. But hey, we'll take it, and looking forward to another great weekend coming up here quickly. So a lot to look forward to. This morning. We've got in the 8 o'clock hour, Katie Nixon. She is the president of Roxon Productions. They are responsible for the Lake Effect Film Festival coming up this month, and we'll talk to Katie about that. Also this morning, Crawford County Commissioner Scott Schell, I believe, is next in line to be joining us to talk about all the things going on in the county, including the wrap-up of the Crawford County Fair and what the next couple months look like for the commissioners, as they probably are starting to think about. No, they're not starting to think about. They're always thinking about the budget. So that's not just once a one time a year type thing. It's constant, especially when things pop up and maybe things aren't budgeted. But we'll see where they're sitting at here with the county finances and what else is going on with the commissioner. So that's coming up. Amy's got birthdays and what we're celebrating heading our way in just a little bit as well. Kind of keeping an eye out on that forecast as, of course, high school sports just full swing now, and you got
no looking back.
No, not really. You're going to be we're both going to be out tonight, but you're going to be watching soccer.
I am.
So hopefully it's
supposed to rain.
Did you check like where you're going to be?
I did the other day, not today. I did not check.
Oh. Yeah, and then on top of that, this is the madness this morning.
This has not been the day.
The coffee maker.
My coffee. I'm done.
Coffee maker isn't working. It's brewing.
Working. Yeah.
But it's not heating thing. Oh, how is it?
It's not that great, but it's the best you're gonna get today.
That's.
Unless you want me to go home.
That's a warning shot there.
Do you want me to go home?
No, for coffee. Well,
yeah, I know,
coffee.
Right?
Man, I don't know.
I know.
So it's just not heating the
not,
water up.
So like it's not as strong, and it is cold when it goes. Yeah. So I had to heat it up in the microwave.
I was wondering what you were doing in the
I know
microwave area.
It's forbidden.
It's not horrible,
but it's not the best.
No.
It's all right. I already messaged them.
Oh, you did already?
Did.
I don't.
Do you want me to bring our pot in?
Do we have a backup here?
We don't.
Or do we get rid of it?
We got rid of it.
Okay, so mental note. Actually, I'm going to make this a note here. Always have a standby. Without that first cup of coffee in the morning.
Do you want me to bring ours from home for tomorrow?
No, I'm almost thinking now. Can you go today without like an excellent cup of coffee?
No.
These are the struggles we're having here.
Struggle is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I just wasted. All right.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm joking.
I'll go get it.
No. I was gonna bring this up. I saw the story yesterday, and I'm like, maybe we'll talk about it, but probably not. I'm not. You tell me if you want to talk about this or not.
Okay.
It's called fawning. It's a common anxious work habit many of us do. If your job is constantly worrying you or stressing you out, you may start not yawning. You may do that too, but fawning, a self-defense mechanism that people unknowingly engage in at work. Like fawns that are in constant danger from predators, people who fawn will posture submission and become overly deferential and agreeable to the needs of others in order to protect themselves from perceived threats. For many of us at work, that threat is usually a boss. People typically fawn because it feels like the safest option to them, especially if they're in a setting or relationship where they have less power, and who has more power over the quality of your life than someone who has the power to hire or fire you. This fawning stress response can be born from a fear of living in tense homes with some sort of authoritarian type of figure, they say. What they've witnessed is in clinical work and certainly within themselves is as they grow, the fear of authority changes forms and manifests in the workplace with bosses and colleagues. So what does fawning look like? They say fawning is an extreme form of people-pleasing behavior. Fawning can also become common self-defense strategy in toxic workplaces with unreasonable coworkers. It often means pretending to be someone you're not. Not all fawning is bad. It's a brilliant safety mechanism, and sometimes the reality is it's helpful and necessary, they say. Many fawners are highly successful because of their ability to please, accept, and hold themselves to a standard of perfection. So this is apparently a thing. What to do if you're a fawner, fawning can be a lifelong habit that can take time to unlearn. So be kind to yourself if you find these people-pleasing behaviors and self-protective patterns if they're relatable to you. First, start by recognizing how this has kept you safe and release any shame or judgment. Isn't that just sort of being like almost a good coworker? Like
a decent human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I look at it like, I don't know, they label every behavior today.
Right.
You know, oh, you're an assertive female. That means you're blah. Oh, you're an assertive male. That means you're blah. I think they label things too much and try to define something too much.
Yeah.
I guess, if you work with somebody, you're not going to like everybody you work with, but be an adult and, a decent human being and know that it's not you. It's, but.
Isn't that part of it, though? Like, kind of sucking up to the boss and, right? Like, if you want to try to get ahead, you got to, they call it playing the game, right?
Yeah, I guess. But just do your job, And when people, what comes in a lot of places, and I'm not, it's not, I have a fantastic team, and they are all who they are, and it's awesome. If we were all the same individual, then it would not be as fun, and it would be.
Yes.
We are fun. So, but I'm saying there are places where people perceive, oh, she's doing her jobs, so well, she must be sucking up. No. She's doing her job. Like, just do your job, period. And if somebody else is doing their job and going above and beyond their job, don't criticize them.
Yeah. Now, I could understand if somebody got upset because they were doing the work of somebody else, and that other person getting credit for it.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, that would be irritating. But if you're just like, I don't know, trying to, you want to get ahead in your career.
You have to give extra. You can't just do status quo or not enough. You have to give extra.
Yeah.
Period.
All right. Now, not related, but this other story here this morning. Revenge quitters. Why people are ditching their jobs and refusing to go quietly. So, again, this would be what we would call burning bridges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Sometimes I don't understand. Unless the workplace is absolutely that bad, these revenge quitters, man, they go out like guns a-blazing with, posting things on social media, telling the boss off, co-workers, and, storming out, and, that's revenge quitting. And this is, I guess it's like more and more people are doing this. But the reality is, if you think you got a better situation and you get into that situation and you don't, and you just did all that, hey, good luck coming back.
You're not coming back, period. You're not. Most employers, most locations have a policy in place where if you did this, or this on the way out, if you didn't finish, if you went out guns blazing, if you, whatever, you don't get a second chance. Like, we don't want to redo this. And that's their policy.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that you might be working with Sally at this job. You leave this job guns blazing. 2 years later, you go in and apply for the dream job. And Sally might be working at the dream job that you want.
No,
and
Sally got the job?
Yeah. And Sally, Sally might be at that company.
I like Sally. This is all made up.
Anyways, Sally might be working at that company, and she knew you left guns blazing and says, I wouldn't hire him.
Yeah.
Because when you go guns blazing and you leave your coworkers high and dry, it's not only the boss you're affecting, it's everybody else.
Right.
You have just...
Yep, because they're now picking up slack and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, don't be that person.
Don't be that person. Be a Sally.
Be Sally.
Let's I was going to say be birthdays. Let's do birthdays here this morning on this 4th day of September. Who's celebrating today?
Actor Damon Wayans is 65 today.
Okay.
Actor Wes Bentley is 47. Singer Beyonce Knowles is 43. Actress Whitney Cummings is 43. And that is all.
All right. Happy birthday to them and happy birthday to you. If today happens to be your birthday from all of us here this morning, what is it we're celebrating today?
I'm trying to get there. Sorry. Eat an extra dessert day.
Sure. If it's the right dessert.
Yeah. National Macadamia Nut Day. National Wildlife Day. And Umlanga Reed Dance Day. That's it. That's all I got. That's it's a really short day. It's like nothing.
So if you're going to make up a holiday, today would be
the day to make up the holiday. September 4th would be a great day.
Although I'm trying to think, like, what extra dessert piece would I have today? Like, I don't know what sounds good this morning.
I'm not getting donuts.
We've had a donut. No, it depends on the donut though. We've had these the pumpkin things the last couple weeks, and those are great.
You got muffins.
I got muffins this week. Blueberry muffins, which are really good. But the pumpkin also is. What is that pumpkin?
I don't know.
I keep thinking gumdrop.
No, it's like a pumpkin drop.
Pumpkin drop cookie. Yeah, those are spectacular, and they only come out this time of year. So, while you're all talking about your pumpkin spice lattes, I'm looking for those things.
Okay.
And you surprised me a couple weeks ago with them. And like, that's really good stuff over there. When do they? Does that last through like Thanksgiving, or does it quit?
I don't remember.
Like around Halloween.
I think it goes maybe up for the first few weeks of Thanksgiving.
Okay. Which is late this year. Thanksgiving, like last year I was complaining because it almost felt like it was almost right into December, and this year, same thing. It's like right into December almost.
Yes. Stinks.
All right. We're coming up on 7:30. We will bring you the latest headlines this morning. Next hour, looking forward to meeting up with our guests, Katie Nixon, president of Roxxon Productions, and Crawford County Commissioner Scott Schell will be with us. So looking forward to meeting up with our guests next hour. Got the latest headlines, including what's going on in sports, Wall Street, and more heading your way next. It's the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
The feline drill, the morning drill, the feline drill, the morning drill.
Donald Trump says the US may have to unwind trade deals with the EU, Japan and South Korea if the Supreme Court rules against it on tariffs. The US president says his administration will ask justices to reverse an appeals court ruling that found many of the duties he imposed were illegal. It's the first time he's suggested the case could derail the trade deals, which were negotiated separately from the tariffs.
Our country has a chance to be unbelievably rich again, but it can also be unbelievably poor again. If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly.
Analysts said the comments appeared intended to put pressure on justices before they consider the case. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 majority of Republican-appointed members. That could boost Trump's chances of getting the verdict he wants, but it's far from guaranteed. Legal experts say it's hard to call what will happen, given the unprecedented nature of the case. The appeals court ruling focused on Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs, as well as separate duties imposed in February on China, Canada and Mexico. It excludes other levies, such as those on imported metals, which have a different legal basis.
Discover no-sweat savings of over $7,000 off your next Chevy truck. It's Community Chevrolet's Dog Days of Summer sales event. Our mascot Clark can hardly contain his excitement, and he's asleep, of course. This month, don't sleep on our hottest savings of the summer, including more than $7,000 off MSRP on a new Silverado, or save nearly $2,000 on hot new SUVs like the Trax and the Equinox. The Dog Days of Summer sales event. Where? At Community Chevrolet.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place, and now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I needed a place I could feel cared for without the long drive. I chose Meadville OBGYN because both my sisters came here, highly recommended Dr. Kristen. Dr. Kristen makes me feel very comfortable. Like I'm family, like we're friends, very personable. My daughter Evie was born breech, and it was Dr. Kristen and Dr. Barco, and they were incredible. It was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't ever want to go anywhere else.
Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
U.S. stocks ended mostly higher on Wednesday, with the Dow closing essentially flat, the S&P 500 gaining 0.5%, and the Nasdaq climbing 1%. A Labor Department report showed U.S. job openings fell more than expected in July, and hiring was moderate, consistent with easing labor market conditions. Several Federal Reserve officials said labor market concerns continue to support their belief that rate cuts lie ahead. But Brian Mulberry, client portfolio manager at Zacks Investment Management, said it will be important to know the impetus behind an expected September rate cut.
Is this because we're actually winning the war against inflation? Or could the motive be a little bit more suspicious to markets in that growth is slowing? And part of that showed up today in the JOLTS report, where we actually saw a meaningful reduction in the amount of open jobs that were available for employees searching for new work. So that kind of is a signal that growth might be slowing, and the reason we get a rate cut might not be the one the market has priced in at the moment.
Stocks on the move Wednesday included Alphabet and Apple, which gave the S&P 500 and Nasdaq their biggest boosts. Shares of Alphabet rose about 9% after a late Tuesday court ruling allowed Google to retain control of its Chrome browser and Android mobile operating system, while barring certain exclusive contracts with device makers and browser developers. Shares of Apple gained nearly 4% as the ruling also preserved lucrative payments to the iPhone maker from Google. Shares of American Eagle Outfitters soared about 25% in extended trading after the retailer forecast third-quarter comparable sales above expectations, betting on a boost in demand from its controversial Sydney Sweeney campaign. On the flip side, shares of Salesforce dropped more than 4% in extended trading after the business software provider forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates.
There does seem to be a repricing of risk in this market. When I look at back over a one-year period from yesterday, looking back 1 year, large cap growth is up about 28% in that period of time. Large cap value is up only 8.5%. So you've got this wide margin of victory for growth stocks. But if I turn that lens and only look back 30 days, we have large cap growth actually down 0.3%, and large cap value is up 5.5%. So that is starting to flip here, and we're starting to see investors search for higher quality names. That typically means companies that have lower levels of debt, a better valuation model. When the S&P is trading at 22 times earnings, people are starting to look for new places and better valuations to put their money to work going forward. So in this market over the last couple of weeks, we've seen some choppiness. We expect that to continue until we actually see some material change. One would be an interest rate cut, but the language behind that is going to be incredibly important. Remember, a year ago, last September, we got a 50 basis point cut, and the 10-year Treasury yield went up because the reaction from investors was, what's going on here? What's broken? What are we trying to fix with a jumbo rate cut? The same could be true this time around, where we get that hawkish cut from the Fed. It might be just 25 basis points as expected, but the language behind it might be more of a, we need to support the economy from slowing rather than we're winning against inflation. The way the markets has been acting up until this last 30 days, it seemed like we have, just been ignoring some of the risks that are out there. So I think it's important to note that investors are looking for, I think, a little bit different risk model going into the back half of the year. That seems appropriate because we just simply expect more volatility as we close out 2025. So as we pick apart the JOLTS report that we got this morning, I think it's a really important indicator of what might be happening in the economy, and it's a good leading indicator. We fell short by about 176,000 jobs in terms of what actually was available to open workers and the expectations from economists. And so that's a meaningful number. That spread indicates that the available positions might be slowing even further into the future. It is important to note, though, that the quits rate and the hiring hiring rate, we're still pretty much in line with expectations. They held pretty steady. We're still hiring at a slightly higher pace than we're losing jobs through the quits rate. So that means no real meaningful change in the overall unemployment rate. That adds a little bit of a comfort to what would be a softening labor picture at this point in time. So it looks like the losses into the future might be weighing on growth. However, in the moment, the picture is still relatively stable when it comes to the actual unemployment rate today.
President Trump takes his tariff fight to the Supreme Court, keeping bond markets on edge. It's Thursday, the 4th of September, and this is what you need to know. President Trump has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to uphold his global tariffs and called for a swift ruling. The financial stake alone makes it one of the biggest cases to ever land at the Supreme Court, with trillions of dollars of tariff revenue at risk. Bond traders are banking on that revenue to bolster the U.S.'s public deficit, and bearish bets are growing. An argument by early November would make it possible for a ruling to be made by the end of the year, but the justices still need to decide to take the case. The U.S. employment picture is quickly darkening ahead of Friday's non-farm payrolls. U.S. job openings fell in July to the lowest in 10 months, further supporting an easing labour market. Even worse, the sectors responsible for the bad numbers aren't cyclical and up until recently had been drivers of growth. More bad news came from the Fed's Beige Book, which reported flat to declining consumer spending. Chinese stocks sold off overnight as seen on our chart of the day. The Shanghai Composite Index, which hit 10-year highs last week, is set for its worst performing day in 5 months. Bloomberg News reported that Chinese financial regulators are considering some cooling measures for the stock market, including removing some short selling curbs. With an epic boom and bust cycle from 2015 not forgotten, officials are hoping to foster steady growth. Fears of an AI bubble will be tested again today when Broadcom reports its earnings after the bell. Strong spending has boosted the chipmaker's profits and revenues, driving a more than 340% rally since the start of 2023. That growth is second only to Nvidia, and expectations are for Broadcom to report a sharp rise in third quarter revenue. Strong AI server demand has persisted for our stock of the day, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. The company beat expectations for third quarter revenue, even as some margins narrowed. Its CEO said the company expects to weather a slimming of profit margins as it enters a new era of AI-driven demands. And that's what you need to know this morning.
Shares of Macy's soared about 20% Wednesday morning after the retailer raised its annual sales and profit forecasts, signs that its turnaround strategy is paying off. Macy's, which also owns Bloomingdale's and Bluemercury, has been leaning into its pricier labels that serve higher income shoppers. That's helped the retail chain offset the hit it's taken from lower income shoppers, pressured by macroeconomic uncertainty triggered by President Trump's volatile tariff policy. Macy's in May said it would increase prices selectively to soften the tariff costs from its reliance on manufacturing in China. The company is benefiting from the turnaround plan that CEO Tony Spring introduced early last year, which included closing 150 Macy's stores by 2026, reinvesting in high-potential locations, and improving product offerings and loyalty programs. The retailer now feels confident about its recovery, even as holiday spending in the U.S. is expected to see its steepest drop since the pandemic, according to a PwC survey. One analyst told Reuters that Macy's raising its forecast was a bold move as a, quote, overcrowded retail landscape and tighter budgets intensify competition.
From big business to small firms, U.S. tariffs have had an impact on many global industries. That includes a sugarcane farm in Kwadukuza, a rural, largely poor region on South Africa's eastern coast. Nkusanati Msweli has run the farm for 3 decades as a solid, though small, economic success story. It employs 8 full-time staff and 30 seasonal workers. Cheap sugar imports were already hurting his earnings when US President Donald Trump announced a steep tariff on South African imports. The move created what Msweli called a double whammy that leaves the 53-year-old facing tough choices.
This tariff thing now that has been imposed by Trump, it's going to have a negative effect in our operations. Because now the price that we are selling the cane to the outside countries, it's going to be more. We have to have 30% more of the price, of which the customers will have to compare now which one is cheaper. Eventually they'll go for a cheaper price, and then it will affect us. They won't buy our sugar.
Trump's 30% tariff on imports from South Africa could deal a blow to exports. The country has previously benefited from a duty-free quota for 24,000 metric tons of sugar exports to the US market. That was under Washington's trade initiative for the continent, the African Growth and Opportunities Act. It made up a relatively small 5% of the country's total sugar exports. But the South African Cane Growers Association said the US has served as a premium market that offered high prices, which helped to sustain domestic jobs. Pratish Sharma is a member of the association's board.
We would really urge government to conduct themselves seriously with the Trump administration right now and try and come up with a deal, because if we don't have good trade relationships with the US, it's going to be detrimental not just to our sector but to many others as well.
The scale of potential job losses remains unclear. South Africa's sugar industry is valued at around $1.42 billion. It supports over 300,000 jobs in a country with one of the world's highest rates of unemployment. Geran Ranganthan is an export and logistics manager for South Africa's Sugar Association.
The US market, compared to other export markets, the value we generate is, is far superior. And being an industry that effectively 1 million livelihoods are dependent on, a loss of revenue in that market will definitely hurt our industry. That's something that's deeply, deeply concerning for us.
Even if a deal with the US is struck soon, it will still likely be too late for this season.
Around 3,000 people at Britain's Lloyds banking group, judged to be among the bottom 5%, will find themselves considered for possible dismissal. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. They added that Lloyds expects around half that number will lose their jobs unless their work improves. CEO Charlie Nunn is pursuing cost cuts. Along with other banks in Britain, Lloyds has reduced its high street presence. In January, it said it would shut 136 branches as more customers take up digital banking, but that it would not directly result in job cuts. Economic uncertainty has also made workers cautious about changing jobs. The Financial Times newspaper reported that Lloyds employees have been leaving at an annual rate of 5% each year, compared to an average of closer to 15% historically. A Lloyds spokesperson told Reuters in an emailed statement that it was transforming its business and striving to embed a high-performance culture.
Amazon touted blowout numbers for this year's Prime Day sales, but by one critical metric, the company missed the mark. New sign-ups to the U.S. site failed to meet last year's total and even the company's own target, despite Amazon having doubled the number of Prime Days this year from 2 to 4. That's according to internal company data reviewed by Reuters. The world's largest online retailer registered 5.4 million U.S. sign-ups over the 21-day run-up to Prime Day and during its 4-day sales event, which ran from July 8th to July 11th. That was around 116,000 fewer than for the same period a year earlier, and 106,000 below the company's own goal, reflecting a roughly 2% decline in both metrics. The data, which is not publicly available, offers a rare glimpse into Amazon's vaunted and closely guarded Prime business, a paid subscription service offering fast delivery and access to streaming content, among other benefits. Amazon, for its part, said it had achieved record-breaking sign-ups in the 25 days around Prime Day without providing specifics. The company, in a statement to Reuters, said, quote, Prime membership continues to show strong growth and customer engagement in the U.S. and internationally. Amazon launched Prime in 2005 for $79 per year in the U.S. and has steadily increased subscription fees, most recently to $139 a year in 2022. The program is a key growth driver, taking in nearly $24 billion in subscription revenue in the first half of this year. Shares of Amazon on Tuesday were down 3% in midday trading.
All right, let's take a look at that weather forecast for Northwest Pennsylvania. And, of course, the information has crashed on me here this morning. Well, there it is. Those pretty graphics on the screen. We're expecting some rain here in Northwest Pennsylvania. Mostly cloudy skies, showers, and a chance of some storms. Mid-60s. I think that's the big thing to note. We're kind of cooling down here. Mid-60s for a high today. Friday, partly cloudy with showers and temperatures in the mid-70s. So we bounce back tomorrow. The possibility of maybe a shower in the morning. So just keep that in mind. Then we get into the weekend with mid-60s. Maybe some rain Saturday morning. Shouldn't be all day. Coming back on Monday with some sunshine. And, again, mid-60s. I think the biggest shock is there's that expectation. You know, like over the summer, you know, it was a great summer. It was hot. But, you know, you might have a day where it gets kind of cool, but then it rebounds, right? We're in that period now where it's not going to get any better because we're heading the other direction. So I saw something the other day about 14 more weeks until, like, snow type of a thing. I mean, we've gotten snow in October before, but... Yeah, it's, remember last year, like, what was it, around Thanksgiving, it got really cold and the snow started and didn't stop until, like, March.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually had winter last year, which...
And it was hard for everybody because it wasn't like we eased into having winter slowly. It was, boom, hey, here we go.
And it stuck. Mm-hmm. Now, for those who ski... or enjoy outdoor activities in the snow, it was
perfect.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's going on. Hey, I know springtime's a time where people get out and you know, they're doing things around their homes, maybe cleaning out the garage, or maybe over the summer they're doing that. I feel we don't get to venture out until like fall. When we start decorating, like the outdoor stuff, that's when I feel like we're hitting the garage and maybe doing a little cleaning. Although I think last year, the year before, we did some cleaning in the summer. But it's really a chance to pull out the Christmas lights or the Halloween stuff, or we're putting the porch furniture away. You know, that's kind of when we visit the garage. And there's an article this morning here about some things you should never store in your garage, attic, or basement. Okay? The reason is potential for damage. And these are things you don't want to store in these places because, again, it can be damaged. Water, the heat. Attics, garages, basements are easy targets for flooding and accidents like fallen trees during storms. But it also just, the heat gets trapped in certain places, and if you have certain things stored, not the best thing to do. So what are some things that you probably shouldn't store in those places? Well, they say photos, documents, reading materials, and artwork. Old photos, documents, books, newspapers, magazines, artworks, paintings are off limits for the attic, garage, or basement. These items are negatively affected by heat, humidity, bugs, and even light. Heat can cause paint to crack and expand or contract on paintings. Light, humidity, and heat can cause serious discoloration, even mildew on photos, documents, reading materials of any kind. So they say photos, documents, reading materials, artwork, do not store in the basement, the attic, or the garage. Other things, how about things made of fabric, including leather? Meaningful fabrics like old wedding dresses, vintage quilts, baby clothes should never be stored in these rooms, as water damage, heat, and moths will ruin them. Stuffed animals, extra bedding, sleeping bags, mattresses fall in this category as well. Leather furniture or clothing will crack and discolor due to environmental reasons, and rugs of any fabric will not be good either, as they will fall victim to moths, bugs, birds looking for dark, cool space. So anything made of fabric, whether it's furniture, clothing, decor, or novelty items, should be cleaned and stored according to professional standards. Also, wooden furniture. Yep. Nowhere to put Mama's antique mahogany side tables, but you don't want to get rid of them? Well, don't store them in the attic, garage, or basement. Humidity and heat can cause the wood to mildew, mold, expand, and crack. So there you go. Same with old electronics. You wouldn't leave your current iPhone in a place that gets too hot or humid, and the same is true for older, less advanced technology. If you're saving that television with a VCR slot to watch old home movies, heat and moisture might ruin them. So store any outdated electronics indoors or donate or recycle them. And then anything flammable or hazardous, they say don't store there. Food for you or your pets, do not store in those places as well. Candles. This is one relevant to the attic. Avoid storing extra candles in the attic with other seasonal decor in the summer months. They may melt or get damaged from the attic's extreme heat.
So we don't have an attic. We have a room.
Well, we do have an attic.
We don't store in our attic.
Right.
But we have a room that we store things in, and I learned the hard way when we first moved in, to have things in there, because there is a room that gets very warm below it, and anything that was waxy, I no longer have.
Yeah, we've had some cool things that have melted because the room has gotten too warm. They say stacks of paper goods, garage or basement, do not do that. China, do not put the country of China in your basement. No, talking plates.
It won't fit.
Plates and cups. Don't store China in there. And wine. Wine needs to be stored where the temperature is regulated. So those are places you shouldn't store wine either.
All right.
Okay. Amy is well aware of that. Hey, we got a great...
Wine is always safe.
Yeah. Drinking it. We got a great third hour coming up. Looking forward to that. For the rest of you on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel, great local programming continues.
Donald Trump says the US may have to unwind trade deals with the EU, Japan and South Korea if the Supreme Court rules against it on tariffs. The US president says his administration will ask justices to reverse an appeals court ruling that found many of the duties he imposed were illegal. It's the first time he's suggested the case could derail the trade deals, which were negotiated separately from the tariffs.
Our country has a chance to be unbelievably rich again, but it can also be unbelievably poor again. If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly.
Analysts said the comments appeared intended to put pressure on justices before they consider the case. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 majority of Republican-appointed members. That could boost Trump's chances of getting the verdict he wants, but it's far from guaranteed. Legal experts say it's hard to call what will happen, given the unprecedented nature of the case. The appeals court ruling focused on Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs, as well as separate duties imposed in February on China, Canada and Mexico. It excludes other levies, such as those on imported metals, which have a different legal basis.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville. Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733. For over 30 years, J. Gill Plumbing and Heating has taken pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. Our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. And with the J. Gill Service membership, you can take advantage of additional benefits like filter replacements and priority service scheduling. Plus, members get 10% off future projects. Call today to get a free estimate or ask about financing options. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online at jgillplumbingheating.com. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
211 is a simple telephone number to remember when you don't know where to go for help. Dial 211 when needing to find health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. It's free and confidential, and you'll have access to thousands of programs and services for emergency and non-emergency situations. Visit pa211nw.org to learn more, and remember, help is available by calling 211.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
U.S. stocks ended mostly higher on Wednesday, with the Dow closing essentially flat, the S&P 500 gaining 0.5%, and the Nasdaq climbing 1%. A Labor Department report showed U.S. job openings fell more than expected in July, and hiring was moderate, consistent with easing labor market conditions. Several Federal Reserve officials said labor market concerns continue to support their belief that rate cuts lie ahead. But Brian Mulberry, client portfolio manager at Zacks Investment Management, said it will be important to know the impetus behind an expected September rate cut.
Is this because we're actually winning the war against inflation? Or could the motive be a little bit more suspicious to markets in that growth is slowing? And part of that showed up today in the JOLTS report, where we actually saw a meaningful reduction in the amount of open jobs that were available for employees searching for new work. So that kind of is a signal that growth might be slowing, and the reason we get a rate cut might not be the one the market has priced in at the moment.
Stocks on the move Wednesday included Alphabet and Apple, which gave the S&P 500 and Nasdaq their biggest boosts. Shares of Alphabet rose about 9% after a late Tuesday court ruling allowed Google to retain control of its Chrome browser and Android mobile operating system, while barring certain exclusive contracts with device makers and browser developers. Shares of Apple gained nearly 4% as the ruling also preserved lucrative payments to the iPhone maker from Google. Shares of American Eagle Outfitters soared about 25% in extended trading after the retailer forecast third-quarter comparable sales above expectations, betting on a boost in demand from its controversial Sydney Sweeney campaign. On the flip side, shares of Salesforce dropped more than 4% in extended trading after the business software provider forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates.
You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. With us this morning is Katie Nixon. She is president of Roxxon Productions, and she's got a big event coming up with the, I love this name, Lake Effect Film Festival. And Katie is with us here this morning. Katie, good morning.
Thanks for having me.
It is good to see you this morning.
Bright and early. We're doing it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, first of all, before we get into the film festival, let's talk a little bit about you and your company.
Absolutely. So I'm originally from Erie, and then I moved to New York City after I graduated from Penn State, and then the pandemic happened. And things changed for everybody. So came back home to Erie and really said, how are we going to be able to make art here? And that was kind of at the time during a lot of different strikes during SAG. So we said, how can we be able to pay our friends to be able to keep everything above board and do everything with really, really high standards? And so we did our first short film, and it kind of took off, and people had really, really great experiences. And that's when we kind of had the idea, oh crap, we could like do this pretty consistently. This doesn't have to be a one-off. So that's when we created Roxxon Productions. So we have kind of two arms to the business. We have our educational arm where we create educational opportunities for young professionals, for students who want to demystify the magic of making movies, right? It's an actual skill set. That's an actual marketable skill set that you can put on a resume and get jobs in. So we create classes, internships, educational programs for people in Erie and the surrounding areas to learn those skill sets. And then through that arm, we have the Lake Effect Film Festival, and the whole goal of that event is to bring filmmakers from LA, New York, and Atlanta to Erie so that we can all see how we can work together and celebrate our art. And then on the LLC side of the business, we create our own independent films here. Our goal is to create about 50 jobs in Erie in the film industry about a year, and then those films will compete on the international film circuit. So we got a lot going on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, for those who might sit on the outside and go, okay, now, really, is this going to attract? If you look at even productions between Erie and Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania, Hollywood's been dabbing in this area for a little while now with productions, and it just makes sense that it's so beautiful up this way. Why wouldn't they come up this way? And Erie has a lot of resources. So again, here's sort of that invitation, right? Like, we're here and we're doing things. It is possible.
Totally. And it's not everything in this specific industry has changed since COVID. It's not like you move to LA, you move to New York. It's not like that anymore. Netflix just opened up a studio in New Jersey. They're figuring out ways how to make films for cheaper in places that I hope it's okay if I say this, but like suck your soul a little less than like a big city that can be very, very expensive to live in.
And the talent that you can find around here is amazing as well, from crew members to actors. You go to any one of these local productions, we have so many beautiful theaters around here for local talent to perform. It really is incredible to see, again, your neighbor, somebody you work with, appear on stage, and you're like, how do I not know this person?
Yeah, the landscape, the talent landscape is so hungry here, so hungry. People are ready, people want to learn more, and that's the really exciting piece, is that people want more opportunities like this. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
On the education side, talk a little bit about that. For those maybe coming up and not realizing this is a path you can take around here. Just talk about, I mean, we have a lot of great colleges, a lot of great opportunities for students to say, hey, you know, I think I'd like to go down that road and take those classes and end up doing something in this world.
Totally. Our whole heart behind Roxanne and the way that we run our sets is as long as you are going to be professional, as long as you're going to be a hard worker, we'll put you to work, and we'll spend those extra minutes and hours teaching you what we know if you're hungry enough. And I think that's kind of what sets us apart, is that we're willing to take that time. So right now typically we do monthly webinars for people, whether they're in Erie or all over. We have an acting class specifically for like a film technique going on that's every Saturday. And then we're just about to launch a new program where we go into high schools for anywhere from a week to a semester long. And we teach kids how to create their own short films. And then those films will compete at our film festival. So that's like, that's kind of what we have brewing. We're also working closely with Penn State and Bold C, their film program there, Penn State Barron, and we're really excited to see like how that partnership grows. Again, talk about another group of students that's so hungry and excited to work, and not even necessarily in like a very negative like workhorse kind of way, but these people are just want to learn more, and that is really exciting for us.
Yeah, but your intern hiring process is a little sketchy sometimes, but we won't go.
I think he's doing a great job, Luke. You got to tell the people what's up.
So our oldest son is going to Penn State Barron, and I think he met with you sometime in the spring, and you offered him an internship opportunity.
Yes, Sam has been such a gem. He is kind of my marketing arm. He makes our TikToks. He is doing some interviews. He is learning everything he can behind the camera. Talk about hungry, Luke. Your son is a hard worker. He's on it.
I know every time he's home, we have to fill the shelves with food. So he is hungry in many, many ways. Let's get into the film festival. This is awesome. Lake Effect Film Festival. I love the name, because it's not just the Lake Erie whatever. This is Lake Effect. It's so fun. And talk about how it came about and what to expect.
Totally. So as far as the name, I actually rode horses growing up, and our competition team was called like the Lake Effect Equestrian team. And I've just always loved that. And last year we were actually we were in the fall, and we were the week before the 6 feet of snow in one night. And so if for whatever reason I had like just been like, let's just do it 1 week after, or it like felt weird with Thanksgiving, and we ended up doing like the week before. And that haunts me to this day, that if it would have been like 1 week after, that nobody could have gotten out of their houses. And for people who weren't necessarily in this area, it was crazy. There was snow up to my ears, and that is not an exaggeration. Yeah. So that's kind of how the name is now stuck. The name is totally stuck. And then as far as the festival, this is going to be our first 3-day event. So last year we had just about 100 people, and it was 1 day. And this year we're really scaling up. So we'll be working at the Tom Ridge Center down by Presque Isle, and then at Five Iron in the heart of downtown Erie. So Five Iron is actually like a restaurant and golf simulator where you like book a tea time kind of a deal, but we've converted some of those golf simulators into movie theaters. So super fun. And then we have really everything for anybody. We have animation, we have some rom-coms, we have a couple of really beautiful documentaries, one about like the story of adoption and music, one about how a group of nuns actually started our local hospital here. Like, we have some really beautiful stories, and we also have like some fun and silly stuff too. So we got a whole array of things going on.
That's awesome. So what's the approach to marketing this? And are you kind of looking at it like, you know, every year we want to grow it and here's the end result, or it's, hey, this is organic and we'll kind of feel it out as we go?
A mix of both. I would say. Like, our passion is always to like bring filmmakers together in whatever capacity that is going to serve them, right? And so I think we were really honored and humbled by the amount of submissions. Like, we're representing 3 countries in this festival, and this is our second year. And so I think I think it depends. Like we have had a lot of response and a lot of positive response to this. And if that changes, I think we'll pivot. But right now, people are growing, and I think Erie specifically is a really good place to foster that community, especially we're working, like everything's really close to the water. We're also working with the Applebee's on 12th Street here. So if you show your ticket at Applebee's, you get a percentage off your meal for the week.
Nice.
So yeah, we're really getting other businesses involved too. That this, I just think we can do a lot of things, especially in this area, because we are so small. So we can almost kind of like, kind of have our own rules, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask you about what kind of partnerships have you kind of encountered or worked on? And it sounds like people are coming and saying, yeah, we want to be part of this.
Totally. It's been, people have been so helpful. And I think it goes back to Erie being really excited about film. You start talking about movies and people in Erie just light up, truly. So we're partnering with Film Erie, which is the new film office here. They've just rebranded. They have been super supportive. We've got Five Iron, we've got Tom Ridge Center. ECRA is one of our sponsors. So yeah, people have been very, very kind.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, it's amazing when you think about it today. Like everybody's walking around with the ability to film something, to create content, and it's funny to go on social media and see like people putting, content creators. Like, are you really a content creator? But the reality is, you are walking around with phones that are very capable of producing high quality content. Now, how you frame shots, how you do lighting, all that stuff, that's when you get into it. But are you finding that more and more are realizing, like, yeah, I have that power to do this. I can create stuff. I can message, whatever I'm doing, and I have a voice.
Absolutely. It is like the wild, wild west in that regard too, with content creation and how available things can be. And even as simple as like when you make a film now, it doesn't necessarily have to, and this is something that the team can decide. Maybe it's not a film that you want to go to theaters. Maybe it's something you want to live on YouTube. Maybe it's something that you want to live in parts on TikTok. It kind of depends on what your goal is for the film. But it's a whole new world. It's not like I keep saying, we're not playing by the rules that our parents did growing up in this industry. It's all different. And that's actually one of the things that Sam is working on in his internship is like, okay, so if we have all our resources with us, right? With our phone, we can create this TikTok. What's our story? What's our brand story that every time people see Sam show up on the Roxon Productions TikTok, what do we want people to feel? And that is, for me, the really exciting part.
That's pretty cool. Let's do this real quick. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Katie Nixon with us here this morning. We're talking about the Lake Effect Film Festival, which is coming up. We got to get the dates, but I assume submissions are closed?
Submissions are closed. They will open up shortly for next year, but you can't get your tickets. So it's September 11, 12, and 13. We have 3-day passes for $75 and day passes for $45 so that you can kind of pick and choose your experience. Tickets can be found at roxonproductions.com. And then you can always email us if you have any questions.
That's wonderful. And yeah, the website has all sorts of great information that you can go and check out. And if somebody's submitting or saying, boy, this is something I think I should do for next year, does it provide, do you have a list of, those expectations? Or are you finding people are submitting things where they've shot a movie, a documentary, or a short on their phones and editing? What are sort of the expectations for the film festival?
Totally. I'm of the mindset of like quality over quantity. So I don't really care how you did it. I don't care how you bootstrapped it. I don't even really need to know that. If you show me a good piece of art, we want to show your film. So as far as submissions, because we're on the smaller side and we are in our first couple of years as a festival, we get to pick and choose who we, what we want to showcase. And so we're really passionate about stuff that's really good. So we're the Erie's only multi-genre film festival because we want to feature a bunch of different genres. I know the horror genre has kind of a bad rep for not being featured as like high quality stuff in Hollywood because it's like, ooh, scary horror. But like we're featuring horror movies in our festival because we know how much work horror is too. We also know how lucrative horror can be. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how we're different is, and anything goes with us. It just has to be good.
It just has to be good. And
Yeah.
is there, if they contact you through the website, if somebody wanted to have a conversation with you, they'd be able to do that?
Absolutely. Our email's on there, our phone number's on there. They can give us a call or email us anytime. And we're also pretty responsive on our social media, so if you DM us, we'll get it too.
It takes a lot, I think, to put something on like this. Who is working with you on this project? And again, is it open for people to come in and say, hey, how can we help? How can we be a part of this?
Absolutely. Anyone, we are always looking for volunteers. We're also always looking for people who want to like volunteer on set as well. So if that is something you're interested, if you see this event happening, if you come and you're like, I want to volunteer for next year, you can absolutely leave your name with someone with a staff badge, and we will like keep that information on file. Like those contacts are vital for us. But as far as our team, who will have boots on the ground? I'll be there. Our head of fundraising, Georgie Capotis, will be there. My assistant, Bethany Lennox, who's coming in from North Carolina, will be there. And that's kind of our like 3 women in charge for the event. We'll have Sam there. We'll have a couple of our other interns. And really anyone you see with like a staff badge has been like extremely vetted by me, because my whole approach to like running a business is that I'm only willing to work with people who are kind and going to be supportive and trustworthy. So anyone you find with one of those staff badges, you're going to be greeted with a major smile. You're going to get 5-star treatment. And that is like, for me, cherry on top.
There you go. And it takes, it's a lot of work to put on a film festival.
It's a lot of work and a lot of different skill sets. Like I can't draw a stick figure. And so we have like our graphic designer working with our head of fundraising to create this program. And I'm like, I don't like that color. And they're like, well, guess what? You gotta suck it up. So, we do have like a really fun working relationship in that way.
That's great. Is there time for you to produce something for the festival?
There was a time this year, I wanted to, but the timing just didn't work out. We are in pre-production for a short film that I wrote based off of a play that I had actually written my senior year of college and then taken on tour. So that will be filming probably November or December of this year. And then we have a couple of feature films in pre-production for next year.
Oh, that's wonderful. I say to Sam all the time, because the path that he wanted to take, which was kind of a surprise to us, but I said to him, I'm actually, when you look at it, if this route doesn't work out, there are so many companies that are now hiring people to just handle their marketing, their social media, or working with companies like yours or mine for that. But there's so many opportunities out there. And again, businesses are trying to cut through, all the stuff that's thrown at them and trying to get their message out there, that they have to, have a team or at least a person maybe dedicated to doing that. So, you're offering a space too where, hey, if you're creative, if you've got, a story to tell, we can help you find that path.
Yeah, totally. And that's our heart.
And what are you seeing when you visit school? I know you go back to Penn State a little bit to see what's going on, but what are you seeing when you come across, students who are going to college, or even those high school kids that start to talk to you about, getting into this industry?
Oh, what a great question. Their eyes light up. I was just talking to a student yesterday who has a really heavy background in theater and has started to pivot towards film. And he's like, Katie, how can I figure out a way to be on set all the time? And like, how can I do that with you? And just watching them realize that this idea of working in the creative arts isn't like you're going to starve and everything's going to suck for you and you're never going to be able to pay your bills. Like people in film and TV like make money just like anybody else, and it's definitely hard and it's not necessarily a traditional route, but like helping people realize their dreams is second to none.
Yeah. So I'll ask you, what are your top couple movies? What are the go-tos?
Oh my gosh, it's not fair. That's not fair. This is silly.
Watch your answer. Watch your answers here.
No, crap. For like funny, like silly funny. Hot Rod always makes me laugh. Greta Gerwig's Little Women, I think, is one of my top movies of all time. I'm trying to think. Eon Flux is a super important movie to me. Kind of helped me like fall in love with stories and like that big world of like epics and kind of action and sci-fi. And I'm sticking with those three, and I'm shutting my mouth.
Okay. How about TV shows?
Luke, Peaky Blinders, for sure. Cillian Murphy, and Yellowstone, obsessed. And then like Schitt's Creek, so fun.
Okay. Now, if you could sit down with one director and have a meal, what, I know it's tough. Who would you sit down with?
Greta Gerwig, for sure. Greta Gerwig and one of our resident directors, Allison Dane, who is in LA, and we always have so much to talk about, and our schedules are completely opposite. And so my girl Allison Dane, I would love to sit her down and say, hey, you're eating with me for 2 hours.
I know some folks from this area who have gone to Hollywood to do some amazing things. It's possible. What are some of the keys that you would tell somebody if they were about ready to move out there and give it a go?
Totally. It's possible, number one. And I know I was saying, or I maybe will give myself a caveat to my previous statement about how like it is a real career and people are doing this every day, and it is hard. It is hard. And like just know that success isn't gonna look like what your friend in corporate, how like they know their next step and that ladder is so clear for them. It's not gonna look like that. And you have to be okay. You have to be okay with that. Yeah, like I had an acting teacher who was always like, guys, if you don't need to do this, don't do it. And then I hear myself like saying that to these little college students. I'm like, if you don't need to do this, don't. Because it is hard. There's so much rejection. There's so much unknown. But if you're like built that way where it's the only thing that you want to do, then like absolutely go for it and work your butt off.
That's great. All right. Lake Effect Film Festival, the dates again?
September 11th, 12th, and 13th.
And you can get your tickets where?
At roxandproductions.com.
Okay. Can you get them at the door?
You can.
Okay.
You can. I don't believe we'll have cash available for change, but you can get your tickets at the door.
Katie, it was a real pleasure talking to you this morning.
Thank you for having me, Luke. This was a blast.
Yeah. All the best. Take care.
Cool. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Katie Nixon joining us here this morning, talking about the Lake Effect Film Festival. Donald Trump says the US may have to unwind trade deals with the EU, Japan and South Korea if the Supreme Court rules against it on tariffs. The US president says his administration will ask justices to reverse an appeals court ruling that found many of the duties he imposed were illegal. It's the first time he's suggested the case could derail the trade deals, which were negotiated separately from the tariffs.
Our country has a chance to be unbelievably rich again, but it can also be unbelievably poor again. If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly.
Analysts said the comments appeared intended to put pressure on justices before they consider the case. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 majority of Republican-appointed members. That could boost Trump's chances of getting the verdict he wants, but it's far from guaranteed. Legal experts say it's hard to call what will happen, given the unprecedented nature of the case. The appeals court ruling focused on Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs, as well as separate duties imposed in February on China, Canada and Mexico. It excludes other levies, such as those on imported metals, which have a different legal basis.
New Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville. Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinch me. Somebody say pinch?
Pinch, pinch. We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Oh, you don't call for pinches.
Call for protection.
Hit it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close or?
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
U.S. stocks ended mostly higher on Wednesday, with the Dow closing essentially flat, the S&P 500 gaining 0.5%, and the Nasdaq climbing 1%. A Labor Department report showed U.S. job openings fell more than expected in July, and hiring was moderate, consistent with easing labor market conditions. Several Federal Reserve officials said labor market concerns continue to support their belief that rate cuts lie ahead. But Brian Mulberry, client portfolio manager at Zacks Investment Management, said it will be important to know the impetus behind an expected September rate cut.
Is this because we're actually winning the war against inflation? Or could the motive be a little bit more suspicious to markets in that growth is slowing? And part of that showed up today in the JOLTS report, where we actually saw a meaningful reduction in the amount of open jobs that were available for employees searching for new work. So that kind of is a signal that growth might be slowing, and the reason we get a rate cut might not be the one the market has priced in at the moment.
Stocks on the move Wednesday included Alphabet and Apple, which gave the S&P 500 and NASDAQ their biggest boosts. Shares of Alphabet rose about 9% after a late Tuesday court ruling allowed Google to retain control of its Chrome browser and Android mobile operating system, while barring certain exclusive contracts with device makers and browser developers. Shares of Apple gained nearly 4% as the ruling also preserved lucrative payments to the iPhone maker from Google. Shares of American Eagle Outfitters soared about 25% in extended trading after the retailer forecast third-quarter comparable sales above expectations, betting on a boost in demand from its controversial Sydney Sweeney campaign. On the flip side, shares of Salesforce dropped more than 4% in extended trading after the business software provider forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates.
Well, looking at rain diminishing to a few showers this afternoon. Much cooler today with temperatures in the mid-60s. Partly cloudy skies tonight and a low of 50. Friday, morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, upper 70s for a high. Saturday, looking at some morning rain showers, mid-60s. Sunday, partly cloudy, mid-60s. Monday, mostly sunny with temperatures in the mid-60s. 70s do return, though, Tuesday and most of next week and through next weekend. So far, so don't worry, the 70s will return. 8:39 is our time. This is the Morning Drill. Joining us this morning is Crawford County Commissioner Scott Schell. Good morning, sir. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, we're doing well. Thank you.
That's great. And doing well coming off a pretty big event just a few weeks back. Hard to believe it's been a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking about the Crawford County Fair, and what a year. Weather seemed like it cooperated.
It was a perfect year. A little bit of rain in the middle of the week there, but it certainly didn't hurt the attendance. It didn't hurt the fairgrounds, and it seemed to be a huge success.
Yeah, we were talking before, and I think you said there's a meeting tonight sort of to recap everything.
There is a fair board meeting this evening that the commissioners will be going to, and see what information we can gather for statistics for this year.
Yeah, but again, it's probably a reminder to people that the fair doesn't just happen the 1 week out of the year and nobody talks about it the rest of the year. Like, it's constantly being worked on, right? So I'm sure tonight will be a recap meeting, and then, hey, let's start taking notes on getting ready for next year.
On what they want to do next year. They meet every month, and it's hard to get that entire group to put this thing together, but they do it well, and we have some great people on that fair board.
That's great. Without knowing anything, obviously there's a lot that's going to be discussed tonight. What were your takeaways as you ventured around through the week?
Well, first of all, we saw that the greatest attendance is for events that people like to see crash and things destroyed, such as Demolition Derby. That just packed the house. And the truck pulls, tractor pulls were big, and the rodeo, it was fairly decent. Also, it seemed like the vendors that show up every year, they were wall to wall. There weren't any vacant areas anywhere. But the area was well kept this year, and it's well kept every year. But this year, it seemed like the entire fairgrounds was extremely clean. Of course, thanks to our maintenance crew from the county, and like I said, it was a good atmosphere all week long. Very few problems. A couple little incidents where the police need to get involved with a couple rowdy people, but other than that. It was a very peaceful week.
Yeah, that's great. Listen, this time of year when You don't get that piece of food that you really want to have. And there's a line.
Right, and that was you got a wide variety of places to eat.
That's right.
And by the end of the week, you're usually tired of fair food, but it was all wonderful. It really was.
There's so much there.
Yeah.
And it's like you get there and you go, boy, that looks good, and that looks good, and that looks good. You got to pace yourself.
Yeah, good week to gain about 10 or 15 pounds.
That's right. That's right. Well, winter's around the corner. So
that's true.
It is that reminder, though, that summer is winding down. And, I think the other part of the fair, I love it because we love politics, but, it's a chance for, candidates to come out, your elected officials to come out, chance to meet with people, whether it's on the politics side or family members. I know there's times where families get together and that's what they do.
Oh, yeah. We ran into people that were having family reunions at the fair. It certainly is a time to meet your elected officials. All three commissioners, we had multiple people approach us and ask us questions and about what was happening with different programs in the county, and so that's ongoing. That just happens every day, even just out on the street, somebody's going to stop and ask you something.
There is a fair board, and maybe you can talk quickly about that relationship, because I think sometimes people assume you guys are running everything, and people are probably coming up to you saying, "Hey, you should do," like, okay, well.
Yeah. First of all, the county owns the fairgrounds, so we do not have a separate organization that owns the fairgrounds. That is owned and operated by the county, and all the maintenance and all the upkeep of that property is done by county employees. There is a separate fair board. So basically, for the month of August every year, we say, "Here you go, guys. This whole area is yours," and they put everything in there. Every department, people take care of making sure the horses, the cows, the pigs, the sheep, that's all under separate people. All the vendors that come in, we talked about the food booth. One other guy sets all that up. All the entertainment in the grandstand, another person sets that up. A lot of people to put this thing together, and it all falls within 1 week. It all takes place. So.
Wow. A lot to it, and that's why, again, they meet when they do, as often as they do, because there's a lot of planning and a lot to get ready for.
Yeah, and as you said, there is a fair board meeting tonight, and there's no doubt in my mind we're going to hear not only a recap of what happened this year, but we will hear tonight ideas about what they want to do next year.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure there's also that, like, okay, we got to get on this because it's going to be here before you know it. Even though it's like, we just had it,
right.
But time is going fast, and a lot of times people are booking ahead of time now, so vendors and entertainment and all that.
They'll book a year in advance to come in there. So yeah.
Well, good job for anything that you had to roll in. It was great. We made it up a little bit over the week, and it was great.
It was a good time.
It was a very good time.
Yep.
The food was excellent. Entertainment was great. We were talking about the West End stage is one of those areas. I think what's cool about the fair is there's pockets of like really cool things that you can explore, and there's so many local people with so much talent, whether they're taking care of animals, whether they're showing, whether they're submitting their gift wrapping skills in the home show bill.
That's right.
There's all this talent here, and it's really cool, I think, and watching somebody kind of, stand tall and proud saying, I'm showcasing this item.
Right. And the fair is we the commissioners, we're large supporters of the 4-H program, and of course every year we always go to the auctions up there and buy cows and pigs, and this year I bought a rabbit and the bake sales, and
those are two separate things, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
we actually we spent quite a large sum of money this year between the three of us, and but that's what you do to support these kids.
Yeah.
And it all goes to a good cause, so we're happy with that.
Did you name the rabbit yet?
No, I donated the rabbit to a different family.
Okay.
Is what I did.
Oh.
So.
I know there's always the kids walking around with the fish, off the whatever, and you can see the smiles on mom and dad's face. Like, okay.
Oh yeah, oh boy, we're taking a fish home.
But no, good time. Now we're into September. you're looking at, it's crazy to me. I know that we'd be normally talking about, budget season's coming up, and it is. But you guys are looking at the budget throughout the year. So it's not like it's like, oh, you turn the calendar and like, oh my gosh, here it is.
No.
It's a constant discussion. But it does amp up a little bit here as you start looking, going, okay, we're going to be really into the heat of the budget season for next year.
That's right.
What sort of things are you kind of paying attention to right now? And does it look like everything's sort of on track for the rest of the year?
I would like to think we're on track. I don't know that we're really over budget on too many items at this time. You always have those unexpected emergencies that you just like owning your own house. Something always happens that you just didn't plan on. That happens at the county too. We've been very careful with our hiring. We've tried to consolidate, and we have consolidated several jobs so that we don't have so many people on the payroll. That has worked well for us so far. But since we're a little concerned right now because Pennsylvania has not finished their budget, and some of that money that we count on to run different programs isn't here. Those programs will not stop. We will do everything we can to keep all those programs going, but knowing someday we will get the money. But that makes it difficult for any municipality, any county. I don't care who you are. When they say we're not paying anything for a while, everybody got to tighten their belt a little bit more.
Yeah. Is that you guys sort of paying attention to what's going on, or are you finding department heads are calling your office saying, hey, this is looking like we're going to be in trouble down the road?
We have a very good financial team within our system who keeps us updated like almost daily.
Okay.
As to what's going on, and of course we always listen to the department heads and see what their needs are and what's not being met. But as far as our financial, we have a great chief financial officer who almost every morning says, this is what's going on. So I greatly appreciate all the work she does.
Yeah. Is she doing it with a smile, or is it like concern right now? Like, well, let's just watch this.
Yeah, everybody's okay.
So is that one of those things where you are maybe your office, you're watching what's going on at the state, or are you having conversations with local politicians saying, hey, what's really going on? Do you have any idea when the budget's going to pass?
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of conversations, although we do. We probably talk to the state reps more than we do the senators. So I mean, we certainly touch base with them, but that's not a daily thing at all. So.
Yeah. Does that impact any decision making on the county budget and prepping for next year? Or again, it is what it is. We got to do what we have to do.
We got to do what we got to do. It is what it is, and I mean, we know what we're going to have to spend and what we're going to have to come up with, and we figure out how to make it happen until that money does come in.
Yeah. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Crawford County Commissioner Scott Schell with us here this morning. What's sort of the task of department heads as you get into this time of year? Are they really now starting to plan ahead for next year? Or is that, again, one of those things where they kind of have been all year looking to see what next year is going to look like?
I think the majority of our department heads are constantly figuring out what's going to happen in the future. And maybe some of them actually do wait till the last minute to tell us which direction they'd like to head to. But for overall, most of them plan ahead and keep us updated on what's going on. We have regular meetings with the department heads. As you know, we every other week we have a work session where everybody can kind of tell us what's going on. We have things called heads up meetings where everybody gets together in one room and each department tells exactly what they're doing. And of course, every other week we have a regular commissioners meeting where you can actually watch us, see what we're voting on and where the money's going. So.
Yeah, and listen, if anybody is concerned, they can always go to a meeting and
absolutely
listen and ask questions.
Absolutely, or stop by our office. We gladly talk to everybody. We have never turned anybody away out of our office. So.
You like to talk, is what I'm.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying you personally, but
yeah.
But I think the budget's fascinating. And I think you go into it too, like, hey, this year we really would like to tackle. I think you go back a year, communications. For Crawford County and other things. And there's like this wish list of things you want to tackle.
Then the reality hits where something comes up, and it's like, okay, well, we'll shelve this for right now, or look for a grant or whatever. So maybe some of those things that you've talked about before, where's that on the list, and what are some things you'd like to continue to pursue?
We certainly want to pursue the P25 radio system, which is an enhanced system for emergency communications in Crawford County. That dollar figure could reach up to $20 million, and we're very cautious about this because it isn't like the county has $20 million in our back pocket to throw at this. So we're looking at this very carefully. We have some backup plans that maybe we can make this change a little at a time. Those are things we're looking at. There is nothing chiseled in stone, so don't anybody get excited about it at this point in time. The other thing, if you noticed in the news recently, is there has been a long time lawsuit pending from the city of Meadville to the county on reassessment. That kind of laid dormant for a year or so. We didn't hear much, and recently it's came back up on the screen. And to make a reassessment happen, and this will all be decided by a judge, but to make the reassessment happen in our county, probably right off the top, be close to $7 million to do that.
Wow!
And we're very concerned with that, but we're just going to wait and see how the courts rule.
And that's the city of Meadville that's pursuing that.
The city of Meadville is pursuing that. They do have a lawsuit against Crawford County.
Okay. All right. So pay attention to that. And
right.
Okay. Any idea when that could proceed, or when you would have an idea of what the judge is going to do?
I would. There have been some meetings between our attorney and their attorney and the judge, and I suspect we're going to hear more about this within the next few weeks.
Okay. You got. I can't believe the general election coming up in November.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things where you don't just the night before say, all right, let's plug the machines in. There's a lot of work that goes into preparing for even, and again, we hate the term, we've talked about it, those off-year election type things, but every election's important, primary, general. What's it take, and what's the process of getting ready for November?
Well, we have a great voter services office, staffed by some really, really top-notch people. Commissioner Seeley kind of heads up the voters' end of things here as far as the machines we use and making sure those are in line. Those have to be gone over every 3 or 4 months. I mean, completely gone over to make sure it's a battery-operated system. Make sure batteries are up and all that kind of stuff. And so they've been doing that. They just completed that latest update to make sure everything was operable. Knowing that we're going to have to get them back out here very soon.
Wow.
And it's a time consuming, but there's some very dedicated people to that, and it usually runs very smoothly, believe it or not. And I'm looking forward to run smoothly this year too. So Commissioner Henry and myself, we certainly help out Commissioner Seeley with as much as we can, but. We're usually the ones, they tell us where they need us to go and what to do. They make all the decisions, and we're thankful for that.
Yeah. Any major shakeups in terms of polling locations? Or
Yeah, we did change the Vernon Township. We took the one away from the school. We had several complaints from the school district, basically parents. And they have a valid point. The election was held in one of their gymnasiums at that area up in Vernon Township. And just a lot of traffic coming and going, and some people thought it was a safety factor, whatever the case. But we did change that, and that operation is now moving to a church, and Blooming Valley switched to a local church from the fire station.
Okay.
So there is a couple changes. Those notices have been approved and posted on their doors. That's all taken care of.
Yeah. So look for those this fall, and again. A lot changes, right, when it comes to lack of volunteers. And I should say volunteers because there's some paid positions there. But
right, the people who work the polls, last year we did increase their pay rate to I think $150 a day to be there, and but it's always a 13 or 14 hour day, and if you look at our people who work our polls, most of them are older people. It's and a lot of them have reached the age that they told us they're going to step down. And I don't blame them either. They've been doing it for decades.
Yeah.
But finding newer people that want to do it is not. I do believe that someday this county's going to have to look at consolidating polling locations. There's not enough people to handle.
And again, this is part of that larger conversation of just volunteerism, whether it's your volunteer fire departments, emergency service. I mean, there's just, again, I know this is something that, especially for you and Eric Henry, very passionate about this.
Right. So, and that's very true. We're getting the fire commission fired back up again here. We kind of put it on hold over the summer. Actually, it's going to be called a public safety commission. It's going to be a combination of fire and EMS. We're going to get that fired back up because there was just too much stuff going on in the summer. We let it rest. Yeah. You're going to see some action real quick on that subject and see what we can do. We have developed a tax incentive program for volunteers in emergency services to give them a tax rebate from the county. You're going to see that come to the front page news here, I would suggest, within the next 2 weeks. And we're very happy with that. But you can't, wish we could pay all these guys and girls for everything they do. That money's not there to do that.
Yeah. And on a fun note here, hopefully it's been a summer where, again, the fair, you get out and see and talk to people, but there's also a lot of community festivals and parades, and you get a chance to be in parades. And I know there'll be a couple events this fall that I'm sure you'll be in. But when you're out in a parade, when you're out visiting a community this time of year, those festival settings, what's your biggest takeaway? And it's got to be kind of fun and exciting to do that.
Well, I look at it this way. We go to every parade in the county. My wife goes with me. We throw a lot of candy to the kids along the way. Nobody's ever thrown any back, so I'm figuring that must be a good sign right there. But you do get to meet this coming weekend in Spartansburg. We're going to go up there on Saturday. And it's just nice to talk to people in every community we have around here. So.
Yeah. It's a chance to, well, in a lot of cases, you get to drive through a whole community and see what's going on. Right. So, yeah, it's got to be a lot of fun. Well, we appreciate you coming in and seeing us here this morning, and all the best. I know it's hard to believe we're down to the last couple months of the year.
Right.
And a lot happens, from elections to budgets to lawsuits. So,
well, I'm not quite sure who comes next month to see you. But they'll have a lot more information on some of the stuff we're wrapping up right now.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Crawford County Commissioner Scott Schell with us here this morning. Good to see you, sir. Take care.
Thank you.